Now, Peter Major is with Cadiz. He's a mining analyst. He joins us from Cape Town just to take a look at what gold is doing at the moment. Peter, good afternoon. We are reaching a critical point of $1,200 an ounce on the price of gold. From the investor to the gold mine, we are indeed in a very different place with gold compared to 10 years ago. And I would imagine that's not a good place.
No, it's not. I really worry the party's over, Devin. You know, gold fell for 20 years, which is pretty unprecedented, from 1981 till 2001. But then we also had an unprecedented run, 12 straight years of gains. And when I say unprecedented, I really mean that. This was the greatest bull run the world had ever seen in most commodities. And certainly for gold, 12 years in a row with dollar increases. But most things in life revert to the mean. And the long-term mean price of gold going back hundreds of years is $650 in today's terms. So for most of the 80s and the 90s, it was below $650. Well, boy, it's been way above $650 the last 5, 6, 7 years. In fact, trading at $1,300 is double the long-term average. So it's not surprising that Goldman Sachs yesterday, world's largest, probably most successful and smartest investment bank, you know, their analysts are predicting gold's going to come back down to $1,050. I don't think that's such a bold prediction because it's still trading at almost double its long-term average, and most other commodity prices have fallen a lot more than gold. So, yeah, it's very worrying because we weren't preparing, and we should have been preparing. A bit like the Bible says, huh? When you get 7 bountiful years, you better put something away for the 7 years of drought. And I'm really worried South Africa didn't do that. We didn't capitalize on this 12-year commodity boom. And boy, we've got a lot larger population now. We've got a lot more debt. We got creaking infrastructure. And even worse, it's not just that the gold price has fallen many hundreds of dollars the last few years, but our production for 60 years, this country averaged 600 tons of gold produced a year. Now we can barely do 150. So not only is the gold price coming down, but our production is coming down dramatically. We're number 9 or 10th in the world, and probably by 2020, we're going to be down to 12th and 13th.
Let's talk about...
We've still got 40-45% of the world's reserves.
Let's talk about those gold companies now. You look at a recent case of AngloGold Ashanti, where the company essentially asked shareholders to pump almost $20 billion into a South African-based gold operation. They said no. What did that episode illustrate to you about the industry? Boy,
that episode summarizes what's happened to our gold industry so well. Here's AngloGold, the world's richest, largest producer of gold for many, many decades. Now, what is it doing with $3.8 billion debt 12 years after the longest, highest boom we've ever seen in gold? How do you have... You're a gold producer, the world's biggest, largest. How do you have $3.8 billion debt when gold prices have gone up 4 and 5 times? That summarizes the state of the industry. We didn't capitalize at all on these last 12 years. And why should any gold company have any debt? But boy, if you've got that kind of debt at the end of a bull run and your production's falling, your gold price is falling, it's scary. And now the shareholders, they didn't even agree to have a $2 billion rights issue. I don't know how they think AngloGold is going to even make interest payments on that debt with the current gold prices.
And then very briefly, Peter, we're almost out of time, but if shareholders seemingly are not interested, as we may want them to be in this industry, what kind of resources future do we have? I mean, that's a bit scary on the jobs front as well, isn't it?
It's terrifying on the job side. It's terrifying on the investment side. And if people don't invest in gold companies, jobs will disappear, and all the ancillary industries disappear. And we've already seen gold employment fall from 550 to 150, and it's only going to fall more. There's too much that has to be changed that's not being addressed.
All right, we'll try and revisit what those changes should be, perhaps even next week. Peter Major from Cadiz, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.